Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I was looking at today's show stats, and we are so close to being in the top 100 in the Apple Podcast business category. If you're loving the interviews on the show, you're loving the content, please take a few minutes to subscribe, rate, and review the show to help us keep pushing to the top of the charts. I'm very excited for today's interview. Our guest on the show today is a dear friend, mentor, and very interesting guy with a lot to give. While most well known for building a multi-million-dollar business with his childhood friends, it is Tony Grebmeier's mission in life to create a community where entrepreneurs know they can achieve anything that they want despite their past. In 1996, Tony launched his first online business in Silicon Valley, which eventually turned into his first supplement company. And in 2001, he went on to build his second supplement company, ShipOffers. And 16 years later, ShipOffers is an 8-figure business that has been an Inc. 5000 company for the past 4 years in a row. But his pilgrimage to success was not painless. In 2008, he was on the verge of destruction. After struggling with addiction and the near ruin of his marriage, Tony decided to get sober. He's been sober ever since. As he got clean, he gained clarity on his vision to serve others. His latest creation is BEFULFILLED, a podcast, journal, and community where entrepreneurs come together to achieve their dreams despite their hardships. So we're going to talk about all this in the interview today. We'll let you know how you can join the community, get the journal, and a whole lot more. But without further ado, Mr. Tony Grebmeier, how are you, sir?
Blessed, brother. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and I'm at service. So whatever you need, let's go. Let's go do it.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for everyone to hear what you have to say today. But I wanted to start off similar to how you start your podcasts, because I think it's a very valuable question. And I want to hear your take on it. So you know what's coming. What is your definition of success?
You can't use my own question. No, I love it, brother. So my definition of success is really, really simple. I open my eyes, I take a deep breath, and I realize I'm alive. And I look to my left or my right, and my wife's by my side. I'm a phone call away from talking to my kids and supporting a team and helping them to achieve what it is that they want to. That means that I'm ultimately of service. So I'm surrounded by people I love. I'm helping other people to get to their next level. And I'm reminding myself that everything I get to do today is an absolute gift and an opportunity for me to be of service. So my definition of success is service. If I'm serving, I'm already successful. And if I'm not in the service mindset, I need to flip the script and actually work my way towards being of service, because all of this can be taken away just like that. You heard in my intro, like, I wanted to die. I want to live today, and I want to help others to do the same.
You're such a huge advocate for living a true and fulfilled life. It's your entire brand is being fulfilled in everything that you do. And you just explained how you do that and how that attributes to your success. So if you would please explain how does one access fulfillment in their life, and how does that translate into them accomplishing success in their life, in their business?
Great question. I mean, a lot of what I think that question sums up is, for me, I can speak from my own experience, right? In my program of recovery, we call it Share from Your Experience, Strength, and Hope. And everybody's on a different path, wherever you're at. I've always kind of said I'm never ahead or behind you. I'm right beside you. And personal fulfillment is what I'm all about, because if you're personally fulfilled, then you can be professionally fulfilled. You can be fulfilled in your relationships and the things that you do. So it's about putting the oxygen mask on first, getting yourself right. And for so much of my young adult life, I made a ton of money and I wasn't right inside. I lived in Los Angeles, and there's an old saying, keeping up with the Joneses. And, you're trying to make everybody think you've got it all figured out. I took apart a Rubik's Cube and put it back together, and I told people I did it, meaning I solved the puzzle. And this way, and the other side of it is finding fulfillment is kind of like a Rubik's Cube, but you got to put it together one step at a time. There is no perfect path. Entrepreneurship is not a straight line. It's squiggly. It's all over the place. And it's really asking yourself some just real basic questions that we forget to ask ourselves. And for me, it wasn't until I had a midlife panic attack and crisis in my 30s that I really got what somebody said when they knocked on my door to save my life. And John said, hey, Tony, your life has meaning and purpose, but what you're doing right now doesn't. So for the better part of the last 10 years, I'm working on that meaning and that purpose thing. And that's where I found my fulfillment. That's where I find the most joy in my life, is when I say, like, what is it that I want? And is this what my partner in life wants? We've been married 20 years and we were separated in the middle of our marriage for 3 years. So we worked through some hard stuff to really get to this part right now, where I'm like dating this hot girl and we're having fun again and we're laughing and we're loving each other. And we're like at also this very like interesting turn in our life where we're empty nesters, we're free birds. Like my son's about to go off to college. My other son's in college. And so we're trying to figure out this next chapter. And so that fulfillment for myself is with my partner. I teach people when I sit down with them, your personal dream life is what you ultimately want to create. You want to say to yourself, if you're in the 20s or 18s, or if you're like in your 30s and you haven't figured it out yet, to stop, check your pulse and say, what is it that I want? Because a lot of us are just at a point in life where we think we can't go anywhere else. We're stuck. We kind of feel like, if you have a job, there's nothing wrong with having a job. I have a job. It's disguised as being the CEO of a company. In title, I made it sexy and fun. So I made it the creator of opportunities. And what I want people to realize, no matter where you're at in your path, just stop and ask yourself, am I doing what I want to be doing? Or am I stuck doing something that somebody else wants me to do? And if you can answer that question wholeheartedly, you'll begin to find some of the meaning of what you want the rest of your life, or at least the next 10, 15, 20 years to look like. And your purpose is usually hidden in your mess. You got to go into your mess. For me, I wasn't of service. I wasn't giving. I wasn't doing anything to help anybody. So where was I? Selfish, self-centered, didn't care about you. I mean, yeah, you look good. So I wanted to be around you, but at the end, you didn't give two shits about me. And so what I try to help people do is scale all the story back, take the story out of the story and come back to the basic meaning. What is it that you want to do for the next 5, 10, 15 years of your life? What brings you joy when you talk about it? When you're sharing with your best friend or somebody over lunch or at a park, just talking about it. For us, it was kids and, telling another dad what I'm thinking about doing. He's like, oh, that's so much fun. And then I say to myself, that sounded good, but it's not what I really want to do. So Cam, to answer your question, I think it's different for everybody, but I think you got to get to the root and the cause of who you are and what it is that you want. I spent so much of my life thinking I was living out somebody else's dream until I woke up and really realized that I had a dream and I needed to live that.
Thinking back to the first 10 or so years of your entrepreneurship journey, because you became an overnight success after like 15 years of putting in work.
If that, man, I still don't know if I'm ever at a pivotal like height of success. What I am is gifted and blessed and grateful that I've got today, especially in this moment with you, because that is what true success is being present with people that you love.
I love it. I love it. What were the key elements that brought your company to reaching Inc. 5,000 4 years in a row after such a long time being in business?
Focus. And a lot of people think, I can focus on it. I'm like, no, consistent focus, day in and day out, trying to improve, working on systems, SOPs, teamwork, structure, leadership, attending seminars, doing the work when nobody's looking at 5 o'clock in the morning or 10 o'clock at night, and you know that there's more to do. And I'm just a believer that you want to build a team that has the same core beliefs and values as you. And you want to surround yourself. Like I hire because of the person, not necessarily their amazing record. Like you wouldn't have hired me, 10, 11 years ago. You wouldn't want to do anything with me. So I look at the person and what do they stand for and what are their beliefs and how do they speak and how do they love and how do they show up? And if your life was stopped right now and everything that you had done was played back, and you saw it in a short 2-minute trailer, would you want to attend the movie premiere? And if you can't say yes, you got work to do. And so I'm really about looking at somebody saying, hey, you made it this far. What's stopping you from going further? And any person that I work with, any member of our team, I ask for like a 2-year commitment out of them. I say, hey, give me the best 2 years of your life. I'm going to give you the best 2 years of mine. And by doing that, I got buy-in. Now, look, I know life happens and you could get a phone call today from a family friend to move, or somebody, dies and you need to go change your, location. I get that. That's called life. But the intention is to get the best out of you. I'm going to give you the best. I'm asking for that in return. We built a successful business by getting people to have buy-in, giving them some piece or status or a title or a bonus or some monetary value where they feel like this is their company, right? They have some buy-in. And by doing that, been able to reach, cool levels. I look at the Inc. 5000. We made it last year again. So it's the last 5 years. It's great notoriety. It's great to measure something. How are you doing success-wise? How do you rank out of the private companies that submitted? Because not every company submits to the Inc. 5000. So I don't want to make it like this. It's amazing, but I don't want to make it like it's such a bar that nobody could get to. Everybody has the opportunity, right? You just submit your financials over 3 years with accountant verification. They take it, they ask a bunch of questions, they rank it amongst all the other privately held companies in America, and comes out a status and a number. But like this year, we may not make it. We had a bad year. It just was an off year for our company. The industry itself went sideways. 60% of the companies like I own today are out of business. They moved on. They're no longer doing what we're doing. And so last year when I saw the numbers, something inside of me just sunk, and I was like, that's not right. We can fix this. That's the kind of stuff I like to talk about. So if you went and looked like where we were a year ago to where we're at now, I've got a 30 or 40% bump. We've increased, we went back. We're trending again in the right areas of our business. And I attribute it to having amazing people on the team who take ownership, and I don't want to micromanage anybody. It's the last thing I've got time for. I'm barely able to manage myself, right? So I want to help people today to be empowered, feel empowered, and then lead how they would like to be treated.
What do you see being the number one most important aspect of business growth and success in the next 2 years?
Number one thing I talk about every single day, communication. Second, connection. If you can communicate effectively what you want, and you can build a team around you to take what you're saying and build a connection with your clients, with your team, you can execute and you can win every single day. You have to have clear vision. And that's my role as the CEO. I have a vision for the company, like a big hovering kind of like, I'll call me the unicorn, right? It has to be crazy enough that people say, oh my God, like I want a unicorn. And you got to get everybody on the team to want a unicorn too. That's what you want. And then the connection is like, let them build relationships with clients and customers and strategize, and let them go lock themselves in a room and figure out on the board the issues and not run in and fix it. So you got to have really clear vision. You have to have communication, has to be impeccable. You have to be your word. If not, clean up your mess as fast as you can. I mean, I did stupid stuff yesterday. I was making amends today to 2 people that I just out of context shouldn't have said what I said. Nothing bad, nothing good, just what it was. And I have to remind myself, I'm always working on improving. So you have to be first putting the oxygen mask on yourself, taking care of it, and then helping your team to do the same, because leadership is easy and hard at the same time. I care personally about each and every person on the team, where they're at, what their mission is. I've got entrepreneurs on the team out building a side business. One day, it'll become their main thing. I've said when I hired you, if you're still here in 5 years, I'm going to fire you. You should be doing that thing that you love. And I really want to help encourage people to remember, if you can have impeccable communication with your friends, your family, and tell them exactly what you're feeling and going through in life. Don't sugarcoat it for anybody. That was my problem. I sugarcoated it. I spent a lifetime trying to look good to avoid looking bad. And the reality is, by looking bad, I was able to look up and realize that there was somebody right there helping me up. And that's really what I'm doing for the team. Is everybody has a different story, like your fulfillment question. Like everybody here has a different path to this moment, but they're all here right now with us. And we're doing something together that's great. That's 18 years of a business. I mean, we've moved 2 different states. We've moved multiple locations. We keep outgrowing everything, our infrastructure, everything. We're learning every single day. We humble ourselves to say we screwed up, but we're learning every single day that the value of growth comes from really good communication. You have to be able to tell the team what it is that you want them to do, support them in doing it, and then you got their back when they get backed into a wall. And I think those are the great things that a lot of people just don't talk about. It's not about getting another dollar. Make another dollar, you spend another dollar. Like, you need to have some values so you know why you're doing what you're doing. And you know, SOPs, last piece I'd add, get SOPs around everything you do. Document this process of recording this podcast. Have it so that, you know, Cam, if you're not around, Sylvania could do it. Or if Sylvania couldn't do it, you could call me and I'd say, hey, I could do it. I know exactly the process. I know how to fire off everything that needs to happen. I know what's going to happen after the show. I know where the production happens. I know who's writing the show notes. I know where all of those pieces are happening, and it's in a document that's constantly being updated. It's like your hard drive. You're always defragging and improving and rewriting and coming up with better solutions. So SOPs.
Man, so much valuable information. You're the guy. You're the guy wouldn't expect anything less from. So Tony, the last few questions are going to be some rapid fire questions, just so our listeners can get to know you a little bit better.
Did I answer them in like crazy voices?
Yes. I prefer it. Question number one. What is one non-negotiable habit you implement every single day?
Strong with the force you are. One non-negotiable habit. I got to be my word. And if not, I got to clean it up as fast as I possibly can. So in everything I do, my habit is like, just be truthful. If it's not right, you'll figure out how to make it right.
What is one book you wish everyone in the world would read?
Well, the Bible is the easy one because I think it's got some great leadership skills and understanding on how to have practicality towards life. But I would go with book number 2 would be Think and Grow Rich. If you're in the business mindset, or you just want to learn like what all these thought leaders had done and their values around it. I believe in positivity and great thinking. So Think and Grow Rich, there's no doubt. And if that doesn't work for you, I would say The Shift by Wayne Dyer. I gave you 3 because I think deep down inside, like, those are books that have really helped me to become the person I am today.
Incredible. What do you like to spend your time and money on outside of business?
Well, anybody who knows me well enough knows that I love to travel. I love the whole concept of one day spending half of my life with my wife in Italy. Nothing brings me more joy than talking about Italy with my wife and doing that. So planning trips to Italy, it sounds weird because I am really trying to live there 6 months out of the year. I spent the last 19 years watching my mom and her husband model that for my wife and I, and understood that it was possible. And so that's what we're spending our time talking about all the time. If you walk into my office, there's Italy. If you see me, I'm drinking an Italian water. If you know me, I'm driving in an Italian car, not to impress you, but to impress upon you that I became what it is that I say I want in everything that I do. And so this is a great way if people want to know where I'm at mentally. When I open up Pellegrino, I'm transported to like being on the Amalfi Coast. Like, I'm literally like, it slows my mind down. Like, I'm a totally different person when I'm living in Italy. Secondly, when I'm driving my car, I can visualize myself driving, you know, amongst all the other crazy Italians, and I fit right in, no matter if it's bumpy roads or small roads or whatnot. I just feel good. And the vision of Positano, that's where we want to live. It's a region along the Amalfi Coast, is literally on my Echo in the morning when you wake up. There's a picture of the Amalfi Coast on my bedroom wall, kind of going into the bathroom. My wife got it for us. It's a really cool framed photo that we took of the Amalfi Coast. And my office downstairs, my kitchen got remodeled. You may even think I'm a little obsessive, but if you want something so bad, what are you willing to do to get it? and I'm willing to talk about it. I'm willing to go and visit. I'm willing to make it a thought. My business partner knows that I'm leaving for a month to go live along the Amalfi Coast. We're eventually trying to get a piece of property so we can turn it into a bed and breakfast and invite, other Americans to, come and enjoy and, come and visit with us. That's my passion. That's what I want to do. And that's where I see the next chapter of my life, running a business, traveling the world, helping leaders to lead, and telling people, despite everything you've gone through, it doesn't matter what you did yesterday. It matters what you do in this moment. What is it that you want to create? And let people like myself and Cam and others help support you in your mission and your vision, and do that passionately, and tell people what you're up to. Don't hide it in your brain. Go share it with the world and watch how the things around you start shifting and changing. I've helped 3 people just this week to go and have a better experience in Rome, because I want them to go enjoy the next piece of their life, which is a vacation for a couple days or a month or whatever it may be. And I need that. That brings me alive. You can hear, if you listen to the tone of my voice and where I'm most excited, it's because I built a business, work at it every single day, and I give myself a reward. A 90-day sprint is something that I tell every person they should put into their life, as a 90-day sprint. Build something like a staycation into 90 days. Build like just a car wash or a massage or something like just really special that you want in 90-day windows. Because I think we can chunk down life into 90 days. We need a reward, get back to the next 90 days, have something else. So I've got 90 days booked pretty solid. I'm in the midst of one. I'm about to travel to Japan, come home for 90 days, have an event along the way, and then I'm going to go live for a month in Europe. Like, I do this because it's a lot easier for me to realize I'm only sprinting for 90 days. I'm not sprinting for the next 2 years.
I want the people listening and watching this to get to interact with you more, get to know you more, and really feel the energy that you have about everything in your life. And so the only way I know how to do that is by allowing you to share your journal and your community and every way that somebody can connect with you, because I know from my personal experience what getting to know you and the community of people you surround yourself with has done for me. So please share that with everyone.
Well, thank you very, very much. Can I take you back to like a year and a half, 2 years ago? I think I asked you about this the other day, but I want the people to hear it. Do you remember that phone call you made to me? You're like, man, I'm kind of in a pickle. I'm like, all right, dill or sweet? Like, let's figure this thing out, right? And you're like, all right. So do you remember some of the little advices that I gave you?
Yeah. So I called you because I was in a place in my life and business where things weren't working out. And you, knowing you for maybe a couple weeks, were the first person I thought of.
Let's call the random guy. He doesn't know me so well. So
yeah, well, that's what it was. I was like, this guy, he'll tell me the truth. He doesn't know me. And so the first thing you had me do, you didn't even ask me what the problem was. You said, write down the top 50 people that mean the most to you in your life. And then once you do that, go and highlight the people that you spend the most time with, and think about the last time that you gave something to them, or last time you called them, or last time you impacted their life. And so I sat down for an hour and listed every single person. I called or texted every single one of those persons, just let them know that I was thinking about them. Even people like my mom, who I don't have a great relationship with, I sent a message to just to let her know that she means something to me.
What did that do for your psyche, your mind? Just kind of, what did that do? It took you away from focusing on the problem to talking about a solution. And people say, what's the solution, Tony? You just had them write down 50 things. And I'm like, I got them into gratitude.
Yeah, it was, I mean, you're famous for turning something that was draining me to something that drove me to do something else.
Yeah. And so every single day, man, think about whatever you're facing. It's like, have you ever been in the middle of a snowstorm in Colorado and you got so much ice on your car, you forgot to put fluid in your windshield wipers. And so it's just like streaking back and forth. And so you got options, right? You could be like me and I do it. I've done it. I just keep pushing through. I think a little crack, I'm looking through it. I'm like, I can find my way. Or you can just pull over to the side and wait for help. And I'm so glad you called me amongst just knowing me for a couple of weeks. We met on a coffee shop, just luck. We really got a chance to spend some time getting to know each other, to having enough faith in yourself to say, hey, you know what? Why not? Like, what's the worst thing going to happen? He's going to say, you're screwed. What's the best thing is going to happen? Is you're going to hear some advice from somebody who can make an impact in your life in a very short period of time. And I have to say, like, I love spending time with you. Courtney, who I work with, says, you know, he's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. He loves Sylvania and what you guys are up to, and loves it. And that tells me, look, you know, all people go through difficult stuff, right? And what I want people to know about who I am and what I'm up to is that, man, I had a drug addiction, alcohol, $1 million in debt, 3 years separated from my family, had a bunch of stuff happen when my childhood, didn't feel like I mattered, didn't feel like I made a difference, didn't feel like anybody wanted to be my friend. No one wanted to spend time with Tony. Told myself I'd never launch a journal, never get a business to be super successful, never blah, 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 blah. And then one day when my buddy John knocked on my door, he told me my life had meaning and purpose. And I really have spent the last 10 years really understanding what that means. And I built a community to help people, no matter what you do for a living, no matter what your job is, no matter what you're dealing with right now in life, you know, that you're not alone. And I wanted to build a support group, and I wanted to put a journal together. I hated journaling, and I still kind of hate journaling, but I like the idea behind the journal, which is to dump the thoughts that you have in your head down on paper, and you can spend time in reflection, seeing how far you've grown. Because if Cam went back like, you know, a year and a half to where he's at now, and he documented the process, which I know you got journals, so I know you've done that, is you get to see your growth. Otherwise, it's in your head, and that's your short-term memory. Tell me what you did last week, last month, last year. You're going to have a hard time. But if you can go look at it, you can say, man, I got to celebrate some of these wins. I totally forgot about, I paid off, you know, $500 of credit card debt. I spent the weekend with my girlfriend in the mountains, or I got to take a trip to Barcelona, or I got to do this. Like, we are such creatures of moving forward that we forget to comment, slow down, and reflect on where we've been, so we can actually work on where we want to go in the present moment. And so I built a community called Be Fulfilled. You can literally on Facebook, you can find Be Fulfilled. That community also has a podcast, Be Fulfilled, the real stories behind success. Cam used my question today. And along the way, I launched a journal that I wanted to incorporate a 12-week course or 90-day program into helping people to take steps around the term growth: grateful, real, open-minded, willingness, teachable, and happy, and help people understand, like, I never had somebody lay out steps for me. I'm trying to lay out steps for you as easy as possible so you can avoid some of the pitfalls and mistakes that I made and others that I've worked with. And so that's been available, and I'm proud to announce today, this about 2 hours ago, I hit submit on placing a new run of journals all around recovery. And so it's going to be called Be Fulfilled Recovery. And I'm excited because I'm going to launch 2, and I've got 4 more journals coming out this year that I'm working on right now. And it's all about different things like marriage, it's life, it's about faith, it's about sales. It's about helping people where they're currently at to get to where they've never dreamed of going, but then giving them tools to help them think and challenge their thought processes and figure out how to get a mentor or a coach into their life. And we all do that just in the community. And that's where I send people all the time. Just go check out the community, come join us, say hi, tell me you found us, you know, listen to this podcast. And what's going to happen is you're going to realize you just gained internal access to my entire Rolodex. My people become your people, and we help you to get to where it is that you want to go.
Helping people get from where they are to where they want to go. It's the entire concept of this podcast. And I think that the information you just shared is going to help at least one person do that. So,
well, I got out of bed to help one person today. That's my mantra and mission in life. I got up for contribution. And if I can affect change in one person, I can affect change in the world, just like my buddy John did when he knocked on my door. Gandhi says it. I live by this mantra: be the change you wish to see in this world. Be the change you wish to see in this world. Doesn't mean anybody else, but right now in this very moment, what can I do to better myself and better my surroundings and the people around me? How can I do that, right? If I'm waiting for it to happen, there's an old saying that goes, it's never going to happen. So you have to go make it happen. And I love to go out and I'll always take your call, Cam. I will always be there as much as I possibly can for every individual who reaches out, because at my moment of need, I was so afraid to pick up the phone and tell somebody I wanted to die. So instead, I just decided to sit on my couch and write my suicide note and say, hey, you know what? Screw it. I'm done. And in that moment, God's SOS sent a signal to an angel, and that angel knocked on my door. And I will forever be indebted and grateful that he acted on that thought in his mind. Like, hey, I haven't talked to my buddy Tony in a couple of days. Things don't seem right. I'm going to reach out. That's my message for anybody listening. You can make all the freaking money in the world you want, but if you suck and you're depressed inside, how miserable is that? I was that guy. And so I tell my buddy John, he's one of my favorites on my phone. I talk to him as much as I can. He just lost his dad, and I was able to share and be there for him in a unique way. And that's what friendship is all about. It doesn't matter if that person you met for 20 minutes, one day, a few weeks earlier, is the person you reach out to today to just say, hey, I'm struggling. You got a few minutes to chat. That's our obligations as human beings. I love God and love people. And so that's kind of what my mission in his life is, to help people see the same. And I'm just a conduit for God to work through me. That's all I do every single day of my life.
Man, you're an incredible human being, Tony Grebmeier. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Man, thank you. I hope we talked about business, because all of that stuff gives you what it is that you want, money, so you can go do the things you want with the people you want. But before you lead with your wallet, shift to your heart and focus on what it is that you want to go serve up to the world and have to make an impact and a dent into the world. That's really where I thought of like how to help people, is like, what is it that I want? I want to be surrounded by people I want to love and hang out with and become great friends with. And I think we have like a 20-year age difference. I'm just as silly and goofy as you, and you're just as serious and old fashioned as me when we get together. So I love like just connection and people. That's what life's all about.
That is Tony Grebmeier, everyone. Check out his community, listen to his podcast, get his journal. If you're not journaling, this journal is going to help destroy any fear you have of not being able to stay committed to something for 12 weeks.
Can we give a huge discount? Like I'll discount it even more so for your community.
Absolutely.
Spell leverage again, the way you guys spell it.
LVRG.
Okay. So if you use LVRG at BeFulfilledJournal.com, I will give that journal to you for 50% off. Whatever it is, you pay the price and the shipping, you get it for 50% off. So imagine getting a journal, a course, a community, and support all around it for like $15. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to put these tools in people's hands to help them better their lives.
What an incredible offer. Take Tony up on this deal.
Yes, sell them out, man. Get them out of my warehouse. I'm tired of them. I have to go get more then.
All right, everyone. Here's what I want you guys to do. If you guys go get Tony's journal with the code LVRG for 50% off, you post it on social media, you post it in the group, whatever, for every person that does that and also subscribes to Tony's podcast, I will purchase and match each person who does that. That is my commitment to you, sir.
I like it. I appreciate it, man. It means a lot. As you know, anytime that I can spend with you, it's always good times. And it's been fun this afternoon. Appreciate you having me on the show. And if you guys need anything, just reach out. I'll do my best to be in touch.
Thanks so much for being on the show, Tony. Cheers.
Thanks, man.